as of June 15th, tomorrow, I go to a kangaroo jury trial on phone harassing charges. That happens when a person is persistent and don't give up. Now, I've got a plan. This is in Panama City, Florida. I got a plan that could literally stop the boom cars overnight. Put out signs saying, "We protect emergency vehicles." No loud radios or mufflers anywhere in the USA. Report violators to law enforcement. $100 off any future ticket or fine, including any loud homes or businesses. Violators to do forced service to the war vets of World War I, World War II, the different wars. They're paraplegics, and they need non-emergency help for the rest of their life. Minimum, the violators have to do 1 year of community service to them. Peace and quiet is a right, not a privilege, contrary to what the so-called authorities want people to think. Now, we've got something that's called, if they went by plain hearing, no meter is required. Have signs on all major intersection roads. Have it on all government buildings. Have it in driver's manuals. Have it in your library. Have it everywhere. That they understand and do public service announcements on TV warning anybody with a loud home stereo or loud car stereo or loud muffler, this is what they're going to do. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to ask the jury, 1, use your common sense. 2, who started the problem first? 3, who could prevent the problem? 4, why didn't they stop the problem? 5, motive to allow the problem. 6, who is more able to stop the crime? 7, who has the duty to stop the crimes? 8, who trains to stop the crimes? 9, why do public servants take an oath in the first place? Is that just a convenient lie? 10, who gets more state cooperation? The private individual or the cops? 11, cops can force assistance under 3015 of the Florida statutes, that's G&H, and 901-18. They can force anybody under the threat of a year in jail to help them in getting rid of these boom car punks. Now 12, cops, when they don't protect emergency vehicles, they put them in danger because of these boom car punks that they can get off the road. 13, loud radio muffler prevention signs. That would be under 80610 of the Florida statutes. 14, cop crime cover-ups is a severe felony under 843-0855-3. 15, I am being punished for trying to protect my fellow Americans because the cops, it is not something that the cops want me to do. I don't know why. 16, put yourself in my shoes. 17, how many other people called and were given runrounds by the dispatchers and everything like that? How many people have been frustrated? How many people gave up? So, what I'm asking for is to use your common sense. That doesn't mean that you have had to go to past the Florida bar or anything like that. And not only that, there's something called jury nullification, of where you can say this is ridiculous in the first place. Now, here are the ways that that cops cover up crimes. Alright, ways cops cover up crimes. Charge the true victim. 1. 2. Protect the criminal from going to jail. 3. Criminal is not exposed to a trial to prove who started the trouble in the first and who is the real criminal. 4. The criminal never gets cross-examined. 5. The victim faces unsurety of a trial, not knowing what that's going to happen. 6. The criminal gets state protection. 7. The criminal gets victims' rights. 8. The victim may have to go to many court appearances in which they're depending on the person getting tired of going to these court appearances, then they put a warrant out on him, or they're depending on the person either drinking, smoking, or doing drugs, hanging out at bars, associating with a criminal element. And so, and not only that, my trial should have been 3 months ago. The maximum is 3 months on a misdemeanor. Now it's going on 6 months now. Back in January, I had these charges filed on me. So, a lot of people, even before they even get to a trial, they're thrown in jail. And then once they're in jail, they have a million different ways to soften you up. Not only that, I found that the public pretenders, they're basically a plea machine. That's all they are. Now, the victim, 9, will have many sleepless nights, not knowing what's going to happen, fearing that they're not going to be able to wake up in time to go to court or anything like that. 10, they can fix or plant evidence on the victim, as was done to Walter Scott, who was shot 5 times in the back, where a cop, Slager I think was his name, threw down a taser, claiming, and if it wasn't for Felina Santana, I think it was, who took a video of showing a murder by the cop, that cop would have gone free and they would have congratulated him on how close he got to the heart. So, Felina Santana, I'm sure is scared for his life right now. And there was talk about, he talked about he was even going to erase the video because he felt like nobody would protect him. 11, they stretch the truth to fit the report, or they make the report to stretch the truth. 12, unsure, hostile court traps, disorderly conduct, contempt of court. God knows what other things they can come up with. The attorney may be the state's attorney will probably use interrupting techniques designed to enrage me. So, not only that, 13. My experience is the state will back up the dirty cops, but if an individual tries to turn in a dirty cop, then they turn on the individual who tried to turn in a dirty cop, and they make a million different excuses like, why don't you? Not my job, not my jurisdiction, I'm not authorized, that's a local issue, I wasn't there. Prove it. All different kinds of techniques where they protect the dirty cops. And if you try to go to the local cops, there's so much fraternization going on, nothing's going to get done. Unless you've got a lot of power, a lot of money, and a lot of connections, nothing gets done. Poor, in memory of cop murder, Anna Beach, who was shot, strangled, and left in the woods. Walter Scott was shot 5 times in the back and then planted a taser there. And then we got Eric Garner that was choked out in Staten Island, New York. Oh, by the way, Anna Beach was from Parker, Florida, where Mark Baumia murdered murdered in a beach. He's now in the Florida Department of Corrections for the rest of his life. He was a Parker cop near Panama City, Florida. Walter Scott, I think, was a South Carolina cop that murdered Walter Scott. And then we've got Eric Garner, who was choked to death, not with a heavy coat on the arm, but bare arm. So that cop knew when he was crushing his throat. And Eric Garner was laying on the ground. So, will you be their next victim? Do you care? Okay, now we're moving on. Moving on down the line here. Okay. Reasonable doubts. 1. Cop entrapment. 2. Forced duress calls. 3. Home castle rights. 4. Cop arrest duties under 3015 of the Florida statutes. 5. Cop lied on oath, which is proven by the facts are that they have not protected citizens from these boom cars. That's 876 of Florida statute. 6. Stand your home ground. George Zimmerman also used it when Trayvon Martin was trying to beat his brains in down in Kissimmee, Florida. 7. The Florida Constitution, Article 2, Section 7 of the Florida Constitution addresses noise problems. 8. Felony home invasion. That's 1802 of the Florida statutes. When the concussion of the speakers breaks into somebody's home to where they cannot live in peace, that is a second-degree felony. 9. It is the duty of the state's attorney to arrest these punks under 6005 of the Florida statutes, which is called an injunction or enjoining, a fancy word for stopping it from happening. They can do it to nightclubs, they can do it to bars, they can do it to any type of business that is disturbing residents. 11. Misprision of treason means, that's 87633 means I had a duty when I know there's a seditious organization that's harming the general population. It is my duty, under the threat of a 5-year prison sentence, that if I do not go to the cops or a judge to let them know about it. 12. We've got something called crime prevention signs that could literally stop them in their tracks. So, going to be moving on to the next one.